Colby, you know what I'm looking for?
What's that, Barry?
I'm looking for the next move, trying to find the next groove. I don't remember the rest of CeeLo's little rap in there. What's going on, guys? My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the last installment of a new beginnings month, or a fresh start month, or I forgot what we called it month.
Right, yes.
It's always like that. Like I really should have this like on a spreadsheet of like theme months.
Even just a post-it note. This is the theme for this month. Boom. Stick it on the side of your computer.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So hope you guys are ready for our first segment where I Dr. Seuss you guys a trailer.
Oh yeah.
Who knew these two would be lost stars? Oh, yeah. At some point, they forgot who they are. One's lost from across the pond and alone. The other is a local legend without a home. But one open mic night could bring them together to create a classic that'll be heard forever. This is 2013's Begin Again, starring my personal favorite, Keira Knightley. And the Hulk. No,
Right, yes.
It'd be a shame if they're like, oh yeah, that's the guy who plays the Hulk, you know? When like he's been in like plenty of other movies. You know, it's more of a shame that I kind of know him more because of his dead brother.
He's got a brother?
Yeah, his brother like committed suicide or something. Oh. I'm kind of sad that that's what I know him more for, but he's like in a bunch of movies. Oh, he was in Spotlight. You know,
yeah.
That was that one movie where they're uncovering priests molesting little boys.
Right. Yeah, I'm unpopular opinion here. I feel like his worst role is Bruce Banner. Like
that's the role that gives him the most money.
Yeah, I don't love him as Bruce.
Oh, you don't?
I like him as Hulk in She-Hulk. Like he fits the theme of that show well.
But you don't like him as Bruce.
Yes. And that Hulk is my least favorite of the three movie Hulks.
Oh, from She-Hulk?
No, just his Hulk.
Oh.
I only like his Hulk in She-Hulk.
Oh.
It like fits She-Hulk, but it doesn't fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's Disney. Like they couldn't make him like, oh, Hulk mad.
They could have.
They couldn't. They didn't even give him his like most famous line.
Right.
I don't think he's ever said it. Is like maybe he said it in a different way, like in the Andrew Garfield, how they like did a roundabout of
right
with great power comes great responsibility. He's all like, well, if you make me angry, ooh, straight to the moon. Nah, but today we're gonna be talking about.
But they did say it in She-Hulk.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Right.
I think what really turned me away from it was like when when She-Hulk was like, you don't know my pain, Bruce. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Bruce just lost like 3 friends to survived like multiple like apocalyptic events. And, you know, just kept losing the people that he loved. I mean, yeah. But yeah, you get catcalled. Where were you during all this?
Well, he does say his secret weapon sees he's angry.
Yeah, but like no. Oh yeah, it's like well that's the thing, Cap. I'm always angry.
Yep.
Which is cool. I wanted to hear him say it's like you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Yeah. No, but today we're talking about the musical movie Begin Again from 2013. I believe it was like an indie film. I remember just watching it off chance. I think maybe I just caught a trailer of it, and I was like, "Oh, they're singing, and Keira Knightley's in it." Okay. But it's one of those interesting movies. It does have a decent size all-star cast. You know, we have it's more musically inclined. We have Mos Def credited as Yassine Bey. We have Adam Levine from Maroon 5, and we have CeeLo Green. So, all right, cool. You know, then we have Keira Knightley and Mark Ruffalo.
And the white friend British guy.
Ugh. This is like, you know what? He tricked me, right? Because when I first saw this is the first time I've ever been exposed to James Corden.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, he's not he's a decent guy. Like, you know, and then then he got the late night show, and then he did the karaoke sing along, and I'm like, you don't have to sing too. and then like, you know, like sometimes you catch a vibe from somebody and you're like, I don't know if I like him. You know?
Okay.
But then like, yeah, then recently all these videos came up about how James Corden is like a terrible human being, and I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I think he like stiffed the waiter at a table, and like, but he was like extremely rude about it. You know, like, if you want to be cheap, but like if you're gonna be also rude, it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna call you out.
Yeah. You can only do one or the other.
Yeah, you can
be rude and then tip, or be cheap and
then just leave.
Yeah,
you leave quietly.
Yeah,
because you should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah, so we have a pretty decent cast in here. This movie, it starts off in an interesting way. It starts off about, I want to say like a quarter away of the movie is like really our first scene when when James Corden is at an open mic and he's like, hey, I want my friend to come up. Can she play? And so Keira Knightley comes up. She plays like a nice
very hesitantly.
She's not in the mood for this, you know, but she has a very like Lily Allen, Norah Jones type of like style.
Yeah.
You know, and the song is pretty. It's one of those heartfelt songs. You know, you could tell like if you actually listen, if the rest of the bar listen to the lyrics, like, oh, okay, but then like, but then you see as she's getting done singing her song, it cuts to Mark Ruffalo looking maniacally. Like, it's something about him being so unkempt and like staring like wide-eyed. And then it cuts to actually like maybe like a couple hours before that, we see Mark Ruffalo. He's staying in this like, you know, it's just very unfurnished apartment.
Right. Just a little small New York.
Yeah, but like his car is cherry. I'm not gonna lie.
And it looks better from the front than the sides. You can see, from the front, you're like, whoa. This dude is successful. And then from the side, you're like, oh, he used to be successful.
Yeah, like that car, you know, it's still probably way more than his apartment or anything.
Yeah.
It's probably like the last thing he's like held on to, really, right? But you know, it's funny because like when he leaves, oh my god, disgusting. His feet, disgusting. I don't know how you could walk around with like, I don't know how you can get into your bed with those kind of feet. You know?
Clean feet going to bed. Yes.
Like it was like I felt like he just got done being the Hulk because you know the Hulk doesn't wear shoes. This is his day job, you know.
Yep.
No, but he picks up a package and he starts to go on the way to somewhere we don't know. But in the package is a whole bunch of like music, and he like tries to listen to them, and you're like, okay, maybe he's like checking out other bands,
right? Yep.
You know, it's like what Paul Rudd did in This Is 40.
Yeah, and like at this point, I didn't even realize that this was in the past. I thought this was just like the next morning.
Oh. Yeah. Well, because I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, that was a weird cut. Is this like in the before? Like, before the whole thing started? And so he goes to pick up his daughter, who is another Marvel person now, Hailey Steinfield.
Right.
Also a great singer.
Baby Hawkeye.
And you learn, like, their relationship is kind of, it's a little off.
Yep.
You know, he's like, oh my god, what are you dressed like? She's in like a little bit more promiscuous clothing for a 16-year-old.
16, yep.
Yeah, you know, but you know, sometimes it's hot in the summer, or it's hot like during the springtime in New York. It's all, you know, it's humidity is high.
Right. Yeah.
I don't blame her, but you know, she takes her home, and oh no, first they go to his job.
Right. And he's like, we have to stop here because I think I've got a meeting. And she's like, you think you have a meeting?
Like, you can tell this guy's life is
and he's
in
like,
tatters.
He's like, we could go to the park and get some ice cream. And she's like, do I look like I'm 10?
He wishes she was still 10.
Right. Yes.
That's when things made sense for him.
Yep.
But you know, he gets into the meeting. Yassine Bey is playing his partner, and he's like, well, it was nice of you to join us. And, you know, they get into a little disagreement, and it seems like he's getting kicked out of his own company.
Right. And it's apparent that he's been already day drinking a little. And yeah.
He drinks before he picks up his daughter. He's like...
Right.
His life is in rough shape. They even go to a bar, and she's like, am I even allowed to sit here? And like he makes his daughter pay. He's like, you have money, and they dip out, but then the bartender like punches him in the face or something.
Right.
And she's like, can you just take me home? Like, this is a mess. Takes her home to their property, like, you know, to his old home, which is probably like $4 or $5 million now, being in New York.
Right.
And it seems like there's like a weird relationship with his estranged wife. They're not divorced because he never says my ex-wife or my divorced wife or whatever.
Right. And you kind of a little later you find out that story, but
yeah. And so still just having the roughest day, turns into night. He walks into this bar who probably is one of those bars that he's always kind of, you know, look for talent.
Right.
You know, that's all you get in New York. You have so many open mics that you got to go to. Maybe you catch like the next, you know, Ed Sheeran or something like that.
Yeah, and he's certainly not going in there to look for talent. He's going in there to look for a cheap drink because he's broke.
And they know him, you know?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden he starts to hear Keira Knightley singing. And he's like, okay. And then like ghosts appear on the stage.
Right. And this is the same song that the movie starts with.
Yeah.
Her up on stage.
Yeah, and like, you know, he starts to hear arrangements. He's like, yeah, that's when the drums will come in. That's when the piano starts, the cello, the violin.
And in his head, he makes this very meek acoustic set into...
Yeah, into this, like full produced, like, track.
Yeah.
And so he comes up to Keira Knightley, and he's just like, you know, he's so, like, you know, when a habit becomes such a, like, when you do something so much, it just becomes a habit, even if you're not in that. He's like, I want to sign you. And he's kind of coming off a little sleazy. But, who ends up leaving first? Keira Knightley, right?
No, she tells him to leave.
Oh, yeah, she's like,
yeah, basically.
Like, you know, I'm going back home. I don't want to be here. But he waits for her outside, and they have, like, some pretty witty banter. I mean, she's British, so all of her banter is witty. Yeah. Something about the way she speaks, just...
Yeah, and he's kind of like, hey, you know what? I used to be this person, and I used to, this used to be my pitch, and I'm just... you know, got fired, but you just have a great voice. And, you know, and then he pulls out his phone. They go to a bar and he pulls out his phone. He's like, here's my Wikipedia page. Look, I'm legit.
Yeah. I was one of the co-founders of Disturbed Records, and you could tell, like, you know, just from his, like, small interactions with Yassine Bey, who's his partner growing up, and, like, you know, that he really does care about the music. Even when he's, like, reviewing all the CDs that he gets, he's like, okay. Fuck.
Yeah, right. Because it's like, it's not the, hey, let's sign the, you know, the popular thing right now.
Yeah.
Let's find real talent and cultivate it.
Yeah, and, like, you know, that's, like, the argument that he had with, like, Yassine Bey. He's like, we started this because we wanted to foster, like, real talent. We wanted something more timeless.
Right.
Rather than, like, you know, the next one-hit wonder.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then one-hit wonders, you know, it's quick cash.
Yeah.
You know, find something catchy, produce it, and then, like, all right, cool, your sophomore album suck, all right, bye. But she's like, fine, just here, I'll think about it. Right? And then this is where we start to get into Keira Knightley's story, where she actually came here with Adam Levine, who he's playing Dave Cole.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, that sounds way too close to Dave Grohl.
And there's a couple pictures of him in like promotional posters where he looks very much like Dave Grohl.
Yeah. And, you know, it seems like, you know, they came together to New York. He had done a soundtrack for a movie.
Right.
That got pretty big. And so this record company is like, we want you. They moved them out to New York. They have this beautiful, like, apartment.
Yeah. And they don't sing together, but they're both singers, and but she's much more into the I want to write something deep, and he's like, I want to sing something popular.
Yeah. Well, like he tries to push for her to be a songwriter for the label too.
Right.
At first, it seems like, he's like, no, Greta is like amazing. She's an amazing songwriter. Like, we're a team. We're not only a couple, but we're a songwriting team.
Right.
And so, like, at first it feels like, but little fucking dark people keep talking in your ear.
Yeah, and it goes from we're a team to she's my inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah. And the execs are like, we want the sound that you produce for the movie. And so like their relationship quickly kind of like, it's that rough patch, right? Where like you move for somebody else's career.
Right.
To a place where like you don't have a job. You might not know too many people, so like you don't really have much to do. And it's like I feel for it too, because it's like, well, why does she have to work? Because he's going to be able to provide all that.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Like, what else does she do? She explores the city. She actually catches up with her friend James Gordon.
Right. Who she knew, and then he moved. I don't know if she knew him from college or from...
Yeah, they knew each other back home.
Yeah. But he moved to New York to become a singer, kind of like Adam Levine's. They're like, hey, you're a singer. We're inviting you to New York.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to be a singer, so I'm going to go to New York and grind.
Yeah. Two very different scenarios. One's harder than the other.
Right.
Because he's singing in the park and nobody's listening.
Right, yeah.
You get that a lot. Like, if you just walk around New York City, like, subway stations, everywhere, there's someone, busking. Right? And so they have a night out, they kind of shit talk a little bit about her boyfriend. But it's like all fun and games. It's just like shooting shit with the lads, as they would say.
Right. And it's an interesting, they kind of show the development of the record and their relationship by the amount of hair on Adam Levine's face.
Yeah, his facial hair.
Like the time kind of jumps back and forth a little bit, but you can tell like where it is, like the furrier he is, the more it is towards the current. And he's got like a Freddie Mercury mustache for a little bit.
Porn stash. Well, he gets much more pretentious, right? Because then, like,
yes,
you could start to see the distance growing between them, because when he has a little porn stash, he's like, for some reason, I was just like, how dare you, Keira Knightley, shit on matcha tea? You British people wouldn't have tea if it was for Asians. But he's like, yeah, samurais used to drink it into battle. She's like, yeah, well, you're not a samurai, right? First of all, matcha tea is delicious. Yeah, it is an acquired taste, though. Like pure matcha,
right?
It's a weird thing, right? But by the time he comes, like, he's like, hey, we're gonna go to LA, and she's like, oh, we're going to LA, and she's like, no. I'm going to
LA.
Like
me and the
band.
And yeah.
So, she's resigned to stay there, but when he comes back, he's like, hey, I want you to check out this song. And Keira Knightley, also being a songwriter, she could read between the lines. Right.
It is, because, flashback a little bit, in one of their little things, she writes a song for him, and it's apparently before they even get to New York.
Yeah, it's back in Britain.
Yeah, so she writes a song for him and makes a joke. Is like, I hope this is your birthday present because I can't afford to get you anything else.
Classic songwriter.
And then he's like, hey, I've got this new song I recorded in LA. And it is a little similar to the song she wrote him. And at first I thought she was getting mad because like he stole her song and then like took credit for it.
Yeah.
But then
it's a song about him falling in love with somebody else.
Yeah.
And so she slaps him and he's like, whoa, what the fuck? And he like storms off. But then when he comes back, he knows that she would know. Right. This is his way of telling her, and he's like, who is she? And he's like, oh, it's Min. It's like one of the assistants from his recording company.
Yeah.
And then so she packs up, she meets up James Corden, and like she stays there, And then that's when we end up with them going to the open mic.
Right, because he's like, yeah, you're depressed. You can't just be moping around. This is New York. When you're depressed, you go out and you do something.
Yeah.
And that's why he forces her kind of up on stage.
Which is good, because sometimes, like, especially when it's like something heartbreaking like that, they've been together for 5 years and, he let the fame get to him. And, just she's like, oh, I thought I knew him type of situation. So, but she thinks about it, right? And then that's when, like, she meets up with Mark Ruffalo, and then they decide, like, in the next morning, she's like, are you serious about signing me?
Right.
Like doing things like, yeah, oh, hell yeah. I mean, he's like looking at his next cash cow. He's like, yes. So they end up going to his label. She plays like her song. And Mos Def is like, or you seen Bay's like, oh, she's a little undercooked, there's no demo and all that. He's like, come on, let's produce the demo. He's like, that's not how this works. You know that we don't make demos.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to pay for the demo for me to listen to.
Yeah. And so they're trying to think like, what should we do? And Mark Ruffalo is like, fuck it, let's just do it ourselves. Right. She's like, what do you mean? We don't have a mixer. We don't have money for a studio. He's like, the city will be our studio. These ambient sounds, and she loves it so much because it's just such a raw, like, thing. It's just so out there. It's pure to like what she wants to sound like. She's also like a huge like music person as well. And so they have James Gordon set up his like, I think that's like a Rolls Royce or something, like an OG Rolls Royce. He's like, oh, we have a studio.
And he had made a comment that everything was going from like audio to digital.
Yeah.
So all these studios were getting rid of like their old recording stuff, their old like cassette recording stuff for like pennies on the dollar. So he's got this little tiny apartment that is stuffed full of
James Gordon,
of actual recording things, even though it's old stuff.
Yeah.
And so then he
he
decks up his car to be a little mini moving recording studio.
Yeah, because especially at that point too, all you need really is a laptop now. Like Mark Ruffalo says, we need laptops, some dynamic mics, and we're set.
Yeah.
And so Mark Ruffalo, he ends up going around the city, gathering up musicians. He gets like a brother or sister pair that are from some sort of Philharmonic type of situation.
Right. Yep.
He like steals a piano player from a ballet studio.
And they're all like, hey, you guys like the brother and sister, one plays the violin, one plays the cello. It's just kind of like, we can't afford to pay you, but if this hits, we'll give you some royalties.
Yeah, it's a back end deal.
And they're like, hey, we're just going to school.
Yeah.
We could be on an album. Cool.
They're like, as long as it's not
cool.
classical.
Yeah, something cool to put on a resume.
But they're like, we still need a drummer and a bassist. So they end up hitting up one of his old friends, probably one of the people that he discovered early on in his career, and it's I think his name's like something Bubblegum.
Yeah.
But it's like he's actually played by CeeLo Green. Let's see what his name was. CeeLo. How's he not in here? CeeLo. Oh, I can't find him. All right, well, we'll just.
Oh, how's he not top billing?
But they end up going to his house.
But it was something like Lulu Bubblegum or something like that.
But he's like, he asks a favor. He's like, hey, I need a drummer and a bassist. And he's like, oh, well, I got you. And he's like, the thing is, we can't pay. And he was like, fuck it, I'll pay him.
Right. And he's in a large house with a pool with like
in
a
New
bunch
York?
of people hanging out.
Yeah.
So you could tell his stardom has made it.
Yeah. I love it when he starts rapping, like people just start coming out of the woodworks. Like they just wait around for him to start rapping. He even has a guy writing down his lyrics and stuff. It's awesome, right? And then but before they leave, CeeLo Green talks to Keira Knightley. He's like, hey, can you take care of him? He's had a rough go. And all that stuff, but I wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah,
and so I love him. So and they have a great chemistry. So they set out to start making songs, which they do. Like like a good chunk, like a good 30, 35 minutes of this movie is just them shooting the music all around the city. You know, they even
Right.
they're able to have a night or a day out with Hailey Steinfield, his daughter. You know, in the midst of like recording all this music. And,
Right, because she has a guitar, because they come from a musical family.
yeah, because his wife is she's a music journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so then it's like Keira is like, hey, what you should play some guitar on her, and then
Mark is like, I don't know if she's good. Talks to his wife. They're having a little joint. She's like, oh, she's terrible. But no, Keira also has like a nice little cute moment with Heidi Steinfeld where he's like, who's the boy in the shirt? He's gorgeous. You should ignore him.
Right.
You should dress like not more conservatively, but like leave some things up to the imagination.
Yeah, he's like, this clothes that your dad hates. Yeah, like you're basically showing him all the goods.
Yeah. But after that, Keira Knightley and Mark Ruffalo have a night out. But Keira Knightley starts to try to dig a little bit more. And he's like, no. They get into a little fight. And that's where he like blows up. And he's like, I was at home with our child while she was off in Europe fucking some other dude.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley hugs him from the back to like tell him it's okay. And then he calms down and they're able to talk about it a little more calmly. He explains like, yeah, you know, she went to Europe on a job. She fell in love with some lead singer of a band. The deal was for them to come back, tell their partners, and then like live happily ever fucking after. But the guy never did. And
Yeah, it was so sad. It's like, yeah, I mean, like for him and for like the wife, because he's like, yeah. As soon as she got off the plane, she told me, and it was like by the next morning she was packed up and
we
ready,
talked to
ready to move. Yeah, and we told Hailey about it, and then she just sat around and never got a phone call from this other guy.
And he's like, and let's just say I became somebody I didn't want to become.
Right,
pretty much a monster. He was probably a monster in that house.
Right.
Like, I get it though.
Oh no,
right,
100%.
They have this moment though, like, you know, he drops her off at the house, but they go upstairs and James Gordon wasn't there. They might have. They have a few moments.
That was confusing to me.
Yeah.
If that was the intention that they were trying to get across.
I think it's just because, like, you know, two broken people, they trauma bond.
Right.
You know, and I think that's really what it was. But they, you know, fortunately, James Gordon was there, and so, you know, because before that they have this like cute little night out where they have like, you know, like a splitter. They listen to music all over the city, like they're dancing in a club, but they're dancing to her playlist. And I love that little part where she's like, "I'm not showing you my playlist."
That's too intimate.
Yeah. Which is true. It really is, right? And so, like, you know, they really do set up for that, and then it's like they have a moment, but it doesn't happen, right? James Corden's like, "Oh my god, you got to see your ex-boyfriend. Look at this." And I love that little conversation that they have. He's like, "Oh yeah," he's walked around like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even notice I had a beard growing." But they do this thing right after that where she's like, it's just so stupid because I loved him like a fool. You know, he's like, that sounds like something you should write, because they're both very drunk, and that's when like the best like creative juices is happening. Right, your inhibitors are off, and so they call him to leave a voice message, and they sing this little beautiful ditty about like, hey, fuck you. Like, I loved you so hard and then you fucked me over, so fuck you.
Yeah, basically.
But, you know, Adam Levine's listening to it and he's just like, oh, I fucked up so bad. They end up having the rooftop performance with Hailey Steinfeld. She has a pretty decent little solo.
Right. They convince Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah,
because he apparently used to pay the bass. Yeah. So they're like, hey, if your daughter's going to play on this album, and you going to play on the album too.
Yeah, let's make it a family affair.
Yep.
You know? I read somewhere online they used to play bass.
And mom's taking pictures.
Yeah, and so they have this, you know, I think right after that they end up finishing the album, right? And they have like this nice little listening party. James Corden comes, before that, you know, Keira Knightley was like, have a drink, and he's like, no. And it's like the first time you haven't seen him drink.
Right. And he drinks like a Coke or a Pepsi, and he's like, oh my God, how the hell do people drink this?
Right? Thank God no one like handed him a Diet Coke. That's an acquired taste. But they do this little fun game where they're like try not to dance, and they dance, and they have this fun night. He takes everybody home, and she's kind of like, because then before that, during the rooftop performance, she gets a call from Dave Grohl, and he's like, I need to meet you. So she texts him, okay, asshole, let's meet. And these little lunches like between two exes is always like super tense. Right. And she's like taking jabs at him, and he's like, he's like, I understand.
Right. Yeah, I deserve it.
He tries though. He tries to like, he holds her hand, and she looks at the hand, and it's like, I love like little moments like that. Like they don't address it, but she's like, get your fucking hands off me. I wish you did that little Denzel. But she explains like, I made this CD. It's like with the Greta and the Great Outdoors. And he's like, oh my God, that's amazing. They listen to the song, like her album, and she's like, oh, it's so fucking good. He's like, and you did this all outside. He's like, yeah, just to prove to you that you don't need a lot, right? Right. And so he's like, hey, I made a new CD too. And she's like, oh yeah, what's it called? She's like, On the Road. And she's like, oh, that's
like Kerouac.
It's so he's like, oh fuck, it's so pretentious. But he ends up doing the song that she gave him.
Right, but he does a very pop version of it.
Yeah, and she's like, maybe I need to listen to the CD again. And he's like, nope, no, I need the raw like input. And he's like, it's just so contrived or whatever pretentious way you could say it. Right. Like, the album is generic,
sold out. It's like, you're not singing your songs, you're singing the songs the producer
like the
thinks are going to be popular.
Yeah, and then she's like upset about it because like when she gave him that song, she's like, that song's it's delicate. Right. It's supposed to be like super emotional, and it's supposed, it's all the things that wasn't.
Right. And he's like, but when I pop it up, then it's going to be a hit. Yeah. And she's like, but why does it have to be?
Yeah,
Can't it just be, a meaningful song?
Like, he says like, oh, but when I played for shows, they go wild.
Yeah, right.
He's like, but they're not supposed to. It's supposed to be like one of those songs you hold the person you love and you just like groove to it, you get mesmerized by it. And he's like, what can I do? And he's like, because he's like, oh, I throw this whole ocean if I could just undo everything that I did. And she's like, would you? And he's like, would you want me to? She's like, no. Because she's a better person than him. Let's be honest.
Right.
But he's like, on Saturday, can you come to the show? And she's like, maybe. Don't play it like that. Right after this, her and Mark Ruffalo, they go back to Disturbed Records with Yassine Bey. They play the CD, and they love it. But they're explaining the logistics of like how they're going to get paid out. But she's like, all right, well, like, the CD's done. Like, the recordings are all mastered. It's all done. So why am I giving you $9 out of $10?
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, because they're breaking down the price.
Yeah, because you like, obviously you guys aren't putting anything into this.
Right. Right. Because she's like, she was there for that when Adam Levine was doing it. And it was like, hey, they flew me out here. They're, They're doing all the recording, they're doing all the mixing, the producing, the promoting. Yeah. Yeah, of course they make $9 out of $10. But if I've already done all that work and I just want it to be natural and word of mouth, then
because she's like, me and Mark Ruffalo, he produced it. He what's it called? He arranged all the music. I wrote all the lyrics. Also arranged the music. So. They leave. They're like, oh man, that was so we stuck it to him, loser.
Right.
But then they have this moment again, like, because like the record is done, so they're done working together for the meantime. But they do talk about, like, maybe we could do a Europe tour, we could do like prog sessions,
we could do everything. We keep doing it outdoors, but just like every album will be a different country.
Yeah, and
which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah. But then they have this moment
again. I was like, what are they trying to? What emotion are they trying to convey to the audience here? Because I'm confused.
Well, I get it though, because like they've worked so hard. They have a lot of similarities to each other. Like their music tastes are on point. Like they've shared the same amount of like trauma, which is like, I'm gonna tell you right now, trauma bonding isn't. It's great for the moment, not great for the long term. But like they do have this weird, amazing chemistry together. It's weird. They're both like they shit talk each other really well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have been 100% fine if they had gotten together. I get it. But no, they end up like, she ends up, they end up kind of like going separate ways for the moment. Mark Ruffalo has a date with his wife. Right. They go, he brings it back to when they first really had their first date.
And they just walk in the city listening to shared earphones. Headsets.
Yeah. And and then she goes to the show, he does the song, but the way that she had meant for it to be done, and it is just so much more better. Like, I've listened to both versions,
but it like starts the way she wanted it to, and then he slowly, like, each verse.
Oh well, no, like the band was a part of it. Like, it was just like the raw arrangement, but like you want to put like like everything else. It was like,
but it was like it. I don't know, because they started and it was definitely like very acoustic.
Yeah,
and everybody's like in the audience is kind of swaying.
Yeah.
But by the end, the people are like, what, jump in, raising the roof to the song, like it's.
Well, like because then it starts off slow and then the band comes in, but it's still like a much more gentler version than the original.
That's true.
Pop version. Because have you heard both? Because I listened to the soundtrack because I love it.
Oh, okay.
But like,
no, I didn't.
The pop version, it's so like such a higher tempo, and this one, it's just like it gradually gets into like but it's still like pretty acoustic with the band and everything. It's just like a much more the gentle version that she wanted,
right?
And it just it goes with the emotion of like the singer,
Yeah.
And so like she I think when she does the song, she kind of is okay with like she's even during their conversation, she's like everything's changed. She found who she wanted to be, like, because then she talks to James Gordon. She's like, I'm Dave's girlfriend, and maybe she finally found her own identity away from him,
right,
and all that stuff. And in the movie, like, it ends, but we get a post-credit scene where she goes to visit him, and she's like, let's just put it online,
right? Yep.
And then they do. Mark Ruffalo.
Oh yeah, because she's like. What if I don't have them produce or do the album? And he's like, it's your album.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want with it.
Exactly. And he texts like CeeLo. He's like, hey, can you tweet this? Because he has like 4.5 million followers or something.
She's like, how many people follow him? Everyone. Everyone on Earth follows him.
And then the next morning, you seen is like, hey, did you see this? 10,000 downloads in one day. He's like, yeah, you're fired. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Because, for you seen, obviously, it has to be business.
Right.
But, the movie ends, like, on a pretty good note.
That's right. And he did get rehired because when she was coming to they're like, what do you want for this album? And she's like, well, first of all, he needs his job back.
You seen's like, yeah, you could have my office, whatever. Yeah, so he gets fired again.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, this is like a great new venture for him. And, when you're partners with somebody, like, obviously your visions can differ.
Right.
And this way, maybe he wants to just cultivate indie artists and do things. He'll be able to do that.
Right.
Especially with like Greta being like his like headliner or whatever. And so the movie ends on a good note. So before we talk about our feelings.
And it was, even if this is $1 a download, I think that's what they said it was. $1 download. They said 10,000 downloads in the first 24 hours. Yeah. Still $10,000.
And it's just going to grow more.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But before we get to our feelings about this movie, let's go to our other segment. We got the high star and the low star. Kobe?
So we got a 9 out of 10. Really a pleasant surprise. Delightful, not full of cheese. Hey, cheese makes everything better. I was expecting a cheesy film. I'm not into musicals, so I was hesitant to commit to this film in a theater. But I was pleasantly surprised. I find some of Ruffalo's work, like Now You See Me, to be hard to sit through. I did not dislike him in this film, but I hated his performance. Part of it was how vapid the character was. In this film, it's the opposite. He's charming, roguish, creative, and delightful to watch. Quite frankly, I did not think Knightley was up to it either. I was ever surprised. She was great. Well written, well directed, very good overall in these days of Hollywood losing its edge and producing more and more low quality derivative work. It's refreshing to see a film that's like this one. And I did not even need to use my earplugs. Transformer, this film was not, thankfully.
Yeah, Michael Bay do be loving those explosions. And then we got a 2 out of 10. Waste of a good music and a good cast. Have enjoyed John Carney's previous films to this once. It's another 2007 film. I feel like it's like sort of around the same.
I watched some reviews and people were like, Once is like they remade Once into this movie.
I was intrigued to see how he was going to top it. The resulting film sees him trying to replicate the idea of a lost guy being saved by a woman and some music, but moving the action to the U.S. And sadly, much of the charm gets lost in translation, with the homemade quality of the Once being left behind. Levine and Knightley form a unlikely double act and are well supported by Ruffalo, but although the music is good, the story is flimsy and too reliant on swearing to be entertaining.
I didn't notice excessive swearing in this.
Yeah. You guys are soft, man. He's from New York. He could have sworn a lot more.
Right.
You're from the East Coast. You've been on the East Coast a lot too.
Yeah.
If I don't hear fuck once a day, it's just like, man, it was a really good day. Like, no one was mad that day. Everyone was on time. Kobe, how do you? This movie is great because you kind of get two different perspectives of like life changing events. Because we have Keira Knightley, who is, I presume, maybe like late 20s, and Mark Ruffalo like mid 40s.
Yeah.
And so, like, how did you view this movie?
No, I thought I enjoyed it. I thought there was there was a lot to say.
Yeah.
And it was interesting how really like one song changed both their lives so much.
Yeah.
I like certainly, there's you have to stretch your imagination a little on a few things, like that the streets of New York are going to be pleasant enough to actually record a song on without people screaming at you. And that weird homeless looking music producer comes up to you in a bar after you kind of get ignored singing a song, and you believe that he's Googleable, right? But like there was that like when he met her outside.
Yeah.
Typical people in New York would be like, "You are a creep. Why did you sit out here and wait for me? Security."
Yeah, I was kind of.
But like, if you allow your imagination to say that those things are plausible and work, then everything else I feel works really well, falls into place.
Yeah.
Like, and I like, there's some things like when he goes in, like he's asking his daughter to pay his bar tab. And when he meets her at the bar, he's like, yeah, we're gonna, I'm gonna introduce you to my producer friends tomorrow. But yeah, this round's on you. Yeah. But then you meet CeeLo, and it's like, wow, okay, so he's a bum now, and you start to understand like his fall.
Yeah. It's I think those situations you really have to have a yes man mindset, because it's also like, you never know, like, so what I learned from like luxury retail is that like it doesn't matter what a person's wearing, you treat them like anybody else. And so maybe maybe that's where she was coming from, especially because she was able to Google him and like, oh wow, you were like co-founder of Disturbed Records, so he does like she has to fact check him,
right?
And so she does, and so that kind of like gave him some like a leg to stand on. What about like the more like the fresh start perspective of the movie?
No, I thought it was good. And like you have to, they could have pushed his a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Like you could have made you feel a little bit more pathetic, like him a little bit more pathetic, because I mean he even came across like this is a person that's going to succeed even when he was at his worst. And I guess like the original movie title was The Song That Saved a Life or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And it was like then it was like, oh, that makes me feel like he was on the verge of killing himself. Like,
oh yeah, because he says
everything
right?
was so bad.
Yeah,
but he says it kind of like quick, jokingly, not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because he was like
Because he was like, hey, I was having some drinks and I was just, I was down at the train station. I was ready to jump on the track, but then I came in here and I heard your song, and it just kind of like.
Yeah, I'd be like, it's probably because Mark Ruffalo delivered it that way.
Right.
Yeah, he was like, oh, yeah, I could have really just ended it right here. Oh, man, Scarlett Johansson was like originally... Ooh, no, I don't think Scarlett would have...
Oh. See, I like Mark Ruffalo in this part, I felt he did a fantastic job. Like this, like with his messy hair, like that's like how you see like this crazy drunk producer. Like I feel like that's how you'd see them like walking around New York, just drinking and going into bars and listening to people play open mic night. I liked Keira Knightley. There was a lot of times in that, it sounds dumb, but like my head was like, she's good, but Natalie Portman would have played the same part, but just a little bit better. But I think it's because I've seen her in more movies.
Oh, yeah, you did. I mean, you saw them together in Star Wars,
right?
No, I think it was. I think Keira would have been. Yeah, I think I not only just because I have a crush on her, first of all, but it kind of makes a little bit more sense because she's much more coming from the songwriting background, that I felt like she fit the role well. Whereas like Natalie Portman, Keira, and Scarlett Johansson, they're like too pretty. And like it's funny because Keira Knightley talks about this on the Andy Graham show, that British talk show, where she was like, I almost didn't get casted because the director thought I was too pretty, and then he saw me in person. He's like, oh, never mind. And so she laughs about it, so I can say it. She talks about it.
Yeah, I don't see Scarlett Johansson. Hitting this movie.
Yeah, and I think it's only because like Keira Knightley hits those like meek parts where she's like more introverted. I think that's why she hits those notes pretty well for me.
Right.
Where I was like, okay, it makes sense, And but yeah, I like both of their like journeys of finding themselves again. Because for Keira, like, if you're in your 20s and all that stuff, it's super easy to get lost into your partner.
Right.
You start to adopt their personality or their values and all that stuff, and you don't mean to do it, but it just kind of happens like organically.
Right.
And then at some point, like if you don't realize it sooner than later, you're like, who the fuck am I anymore?
Right.
And then that seems to be like the conundrum she has after they break up, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's like I totally feel that because I've owned my own business and like multiple times, and I always am like, why, like to my partner, like, why are you not more with me in this business? I mean, like, you're supportive, but
yeah,
I want you to be more part of this because as this grows, like this becomes like my world.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want you to be left out.
Yeah.
But you're choosing to not come in and be part of it. And so it's like, I wasn't quite Adam Levine, where I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to LA without you. I was always like, I'm going to LA. Please come. Why won't you come?
Yeah, and he had that at the beginning, right? Because like he's like, can you come to the company with me? I need you there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
because she says that too. She's like, should I have let you come, to New York and followed you like in a month and let you settle in? And he was like, no, I need you here with me, and you're my.
Yeah, and so like quickly he gets caught up in everything and he separates himself from her, and she sort of almost becomes like this remnant of his old life before everything, right? And then now she's kind of stuck, having to find herself again. And with Mark Ruffalo, he was more of like, he lost himself in like in like what happened with his marriage and all that stuff. How did you feel about the resolution of like them still having like getting back together?
From the very first time they met, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's what should happen. And that's why I was torn and confused on the couple times where it was like, is he gonna kiss Keira Knightley? Because this movie should have him back together with his wife.
Yeah. I know. Maybe it's because I'm still a little younger than Colby, that I was like, I would be fine with this. I don't, but like long term wise, I don't know how it would turn out, obviously.
Right.
Because like, it's funny. They like him and his wife have like these moments where like, he's like taking a shower and he's like, oh, you want to jump in a little sexy time? And she thinks about it. She's like, no.
Right.
Whether she's like still, riddled with guilt about how he had taken everything, because obviously he had like become a drunkard, it caused him a huge amount of pain,
right?
And so like maybe she restricts herself from those things because she wants to be sure that like he still wants to be with her,
right?
Yeah. And like, and it's just like, also for their daughter, you don't want your kids to see you have this tumultuous like relationship.
Right. Yeah.
And so, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, that's he's obviously still loves his wife, and sometimes you just got to move on from like rough patches. That's like a pothole that like, everybody complains about to the state and it never gets fixed. But that's the rough patch. But it was still super obvious that he was still like in love with his wife.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but like, you know, and so he was able to find himself again. You know, by the end of the movie, he's moving back home. Like when he says it, when she's like, "Oh, where are you going?" She's like, "I'm going back home." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But man, something inside of me was like, you know, I'll be fine. I'd be fine with it. You know, I hate it too because Keira Knightley has like that stare that she does, and it's so sexy.
Right. No, 100%. And like when she's like giving it to Mark Ruffalo, I'm like, don't kiss. That's gonna like legitimately, it's gonna ruin the movie for me right here if you guys kiss. This is not what you're supposed to do.
You know, but okay, but it could have been one of those like kisses is like, ooh, like, you know, like when they kiss, they're like, we shouldn't do this.
No.
It'd be wrong.
No.
You know. Sometimes you got to figure it out. Listen, his wife got dicked around Europe. He can't have a little kiss with Keira Knightley. No, because that, you know, if they do end up like, you know, doing more sessions in Europe and all that stuff, then it could become more messy.
Right. Absolutely.
But yeah, this is a nice little rediscover. Like it's like a fresh start, but it's like fresh start / rediscovery of each other. You know, and I think, you know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the plot of this movie is so contrived and it's so cut and dry. But like, you know, sometimes you need a feel good movie, you know?
Right. Not that this was always a feel good movie. Like it was. Yeah, but it was deep. It was heavy through a lot of it.
It's one of those movies where it's like it's a movie about picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, just like how we started this month with Everything Must Go, we're doing it again, you know?
Right.
Because sometimes like some people need to watch a movie about how to like pick up the pieces and try to fit them back in and move on and hopefully, you know, get stronger after that, right? Because then, like, you know, when she's biking away after the performance, you know, you could really tell it in her face that she was, like, happy. Like,
right.
The happiest she's probably been in a really long time. All right. All right, guys, we're coming up to our hour. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our other months. We have my favorite Nicolas Cage month. We have Machete month, which is just Danny Trejo in other movies.
We could do a whole Danny Trejo year. He is in as many movies as Nick Cage.
They're just the two sides of the same coin.
Right.
But yeah, make sure to check this out. But this is the first time you guys are joining us. We have 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD It, Blu-ray It, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where are you at?
I would definitely watch this movie again. I'd love to. This is a shareable movie. Like it's a deep movie, so it's not like let's throw this on while we're at a party. And I absolutely would need to look up the soundtrack, especially since you said that they've got both versions of that song on there. The music in here is great, and I thought that we didn't even talk about the music.
Oh,
the music is all the songs say something important about that part of
their journey,
but without it being like a musical where it's just like for no reason they stop and start singing about things.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to make a musical where there's enough songs in it to like it's a musical, but without being Broadway.
Yeah. So which one are you getting?
So from that I probably gotta go Blu-ray.
I own this on Blu-ray. So
okay.
But then again, I own like a couple Keira Knightley movies, you know? Except for the ones that she shows her boobs in. Like I feel like I should have those, but those movies are so like they're like all like epics, you know. Like one's about Freud, you know, and his obsession with like sex psychology, you know, and she shows her boobs off of that a lot of times. And I'm like, ugh. You know, the dresses, the old time hair. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Keira Knightley is not afraid to show her boobs, and I'm thankful for that. You know, it's a great European upbringing. No, but I love her.
She's raised well because she shows her boobs a lot.
No, I love her like in these like lighthearted films, just because you know I just like her acting style. You know how she's able to play different roles really well, and like make them their own. So that's where I'm at. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our links down below. We have a link to our commentary channel, WWT Commentary on YouTube, where you can watch more up to date things. You know, things within the last couple years versus
with a little video.
Yeah, with a little video.
And then, of course, we got our socials down below. Not our social security numbers. We don't. Yeah. What are you going to steal from us?
Our debt. Our crippling American debt.
But definitely follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Show us some love. That's the easiest way to let us know that you're there, and to share us with your friends.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out it as a theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on her album, Music for Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.